Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 142, Clenched Fist. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and lovable Dungeon Master, Michael Corley, and with us tonight in a special two-person episode is Dare. Dare, tell everyone who you will be playing.
Howdy, y'all. I am Dare, and I am playing Tix Birchmanson, Paladin to Garo Glittergold.
Beautiful, beautiful. And also with us tonight is Riley. Riley, tell us who you will be playing.
Hi, I'm Riley, and I'm playing Athora Greyfield, a tiefling fighter.
Wonderful. When we last left our players, they were split up because the entire ocean of the Sand Swallow Sea was coming down upon them. Through some incredibly quick thinking and using both a cloak of undeath and a crystal ball, they were able to communicate with the necromancer Gorluin and were able to teleport to safety. The small little detail is that in the process, Athora died. However, because Tix is a powerful cleric and paladin of Garo Glittergold, he was able to restore her to life. You and Morezi are now in the outskirts of Zintel Keep and at the stronghold of the necromancer Gorluin. You are being nearly run over by the enthusiastic ministrations of your former companion's companion, Chop, the enormous boar who is and nuzzling up to y'all. You are also, Tix, your companion is clambering out of your backpack, insisting to know what's going on. Is there anything that you would like to say to Fezzik? Fezzik, yes. To Fezzik.
I will reach in and give him some small gem chips that I've been collecting for him to munch on. Ask him how his studies are going and if he enjoyed the ride.
Oh, yes, I enjoyed the ride. And also, because I am an elemental, and he flexes his non-existent muscles, as I have said before, Fezzik looks like if a snowman were made out of black obsidian, and he has green jeweled eyes that do like slightly shift in his head. He does not have what you would consider to be a mouth exactly, but there is an area where he eats. And has come out and is talking about his studies and how he is training to become a mighty warrior like you and like Athora. And Athora, you are dealing with a very disgruntled cat. Katra is very unhappy with you, looking up you with baleful green eyes, and her orange stripes and the three black markings on her face scrunch up as she looks up at you, seemingly annoyed at you for dying, and goes, meow.
I'm sorry, pet.
And then suddenly Chop begins to take a great interest in Katra, and Katra is very unhappy and launches to attack the enormous boar. But by the way, just as a reminder, this boar is like the size of a mastiff, is a huge, enormous boar, and this cat, who is just slightly larger than a normal cat, is launching itself at this boar. What are you going to do, Athora?
I try and catch the cat.
Give me a basically an attack roll and add your dexterity bonus.
All right. There's like a 24, right?
A 24. So you nimbly, there's the moment where the claws, just in slow motion, you see them coming towards this huge snout, and then just gets pulled backwards by the scruff of Katra's neck, and there's just hissing and yowling and spitting, and you're very glad that you wear gauntlets as part of your armor. The leather is being badly scratched by this very upset cat, but it finally calms down, drops to the ground, and begins snuffling around. And Gorluin, the elven necromancer, she comes up to both of you and says, "Are you well?"
All better now.
I don't know about that, but I certainly hope so.
Well, it seems this new cloak that we just acquired has some interesting abilities that only extend so far, but we were able to use it to get ourselves here. So thank you for helping us out.
Absolutely. You have helped me in the past when I was being attacked by the ogres that had been put against me by the Boo Hag. So I am very happy to help, and you have also, to be perfectly honest, the mayor of Zintelkeep, Wraithal, had wanted to send all of you to kill me because I was, I shall we say, live a lifestyle that was not to his liking.
Yeah, he seems to have that prejudice against a lot of people. And so I'm glad that we were able to discern that you are good folk. Chop certainly appreciates you.
And Chop comes up and nuzzles up against you, Tix. Despite the almost constant fussing that you and Osokai had, Chop always liked you and just comes and kind of nuzzles up next to you. And you're very happy to see that he's got a good home here with Gorluin.
I pull a dried carrot from my rations and give it to him.
He very, very eagerly eats it up, and your hand just vanishes inside this big boar mouth for a moment, and then he takes it almost nimbly out and begins ruffling in the ground for truffles, something that he seems to be quite skilled at. And Gorluin asks y'all, I assume you would like to go back. I assume you don't want to make the trek by foot. It would take quite a while, I would think, to make your way back.
Well, actually, we have to get to Massgate now because that's going to be our rendezvous. And I expect that Penton is well on his way there if he wasn't crushed by an ocean, but gods be willing, and Bahamut is watching over him. I'm sure that he is already back at Massgate. So that's where we need to figure out how to get to.
And just out of curiosity, why exactly do you need to go to Massgate?
To get to Audrey.
Yes. Well, Audrey is at is in Kalimvor.
Was Audrey in
there's been a whole lot going on. It's okay. We'll cut this part out. As part of his side quest earlier, Penton had traveled to Massgate and retrieved Audrey when the illusionist had sent him there. So currently, your primary thing is to retrieve the other half of the staff, which you found out from Taka is underneath the layer of the Kraken. Yes. If you choose to do so, to put the staff on the oldest grave, which you and Athora have found, in Kalimvor.
Before we go on, where did we say we were going to meet him then? I thought we said...
You, as far as I remember, as I recall, you were going to meet back in Kalimvor.
Okay. All right, All right, Gorluin. I guess we need to meet in Kalimvor, get back there to make an assault on the Kraken's cave to get the other half of the Staff of Seraphim and save the world.
That is quite an undertaking. So here's the thing. I can send you back, much as I did, and she gestures to Merezi. I can send you back as I did send Merezi and the elf and the half-elf and the young Kinku back by making you having the seeming of death and then transporting you in that state. Or perhaps even wearing this cloak may do it. However, as you might have noticed, your companion here, Athora, died. While doing that, I am using these spells in a way that they are not intended. And they entail a certain amount of risk.
Well, I would say that we could use the cloak seemed to work well for 2. And so we'll let Morezi stay back this time. And I'll put the cloak over the 2 of us. And you could transport us safely with that spell. And transport Morezi after she's rested and you've prepared to get her along the way herself.
I would be delighted to do that. I'm worried that I am going to kill you. Is what I am saying. When I tried to transport Morezi the first time, I killed her. She died. I was able to revive her using my necromancy, and there do not seem to be any problems. And Morezi goes, "Yeah, I feel fine." And however, when I brought you here, Athora died. And you, of course, are very powerful and were able to bring her back. But what this tells me is that there exists a very real chance that if I transport you in this manner again, I could permanently kill one of you. And I would like to not do that.
I appreciate that. So do you have a suggestion?
I do. I believe that you are aware it was very impossible for me, only a few miles away, to not notice that Zental Keep has been destroyed. I don't know how much the Kinku has told you. The Zental Keep is no more.
That's what I heard.
Yes. However, there exists in Zental Keep a relic of the god Bane. The demon god Bane. It is a glove and a totem of his power. And I think that if you could bring that to me, that I could open a portal that would safely transport you, because it simply would open a portal. It would not require you to die or seem to die in order to do so. The advantage of that is that Zental Keep was destroyed, and so I don't think that you're going to have much resistance. However, the real issue would be finding it.
It's a shame we don't have somebody here who could locate a magical object.
Yes, well, I might be able to help you with that. And she leans down and goes, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty." And immediately Athora, Catra goes, "Ow!" and like backs up. I think that I could put a spell on your cat, and it would allow the cat to seek out this particular item, and would be of minimal risk to do so.
Well, Catra, come here. Do you want to do this?
Catra walks up to you, Athora, and looks you steadily in the eyes. And you, for the first time, this has never happened before, by the way, you almost hear a thought coming from Catra. It is not really a thought. It's almost like an emotion. And it is a wary trust. You think that it is saying, "I trust you, but don't push it."
I'll give you fish or whatever meat you want.
I would like you to make a roll here. So I don't think this would be animal handling so much. This is actually a charisma roll, and I believe you have something that helps with that.
I have a +1 because of my coat.
Yes, you do. And you actually get advantage on a roll once per day.
All right, charisma. Yeah, advantage is natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay. There is a moment you look at her, she looks at you, you kind of steady yourself with your cloak, and it gives off this aura of power. You're starting to really understand how this cloak works, and it is truly magical. As I have said, in this world, there are two ways to make a cloak, a magic item. One is you take spell components and gold and, or residuum, and you infuse it with magic. It's expensive and it works. Or something special happens, like, say, a 3-foot long rope. Tix, how did you get that rope?
The rope was bought when I thought it was a magic rope, and some little old woman suckered me into it.
Yes, she was an old peddler woman long ago, and she absolutely conned you into buying a completely ordinary rope, telling you it was a rope of climbing. But you have used this rope, you've kept this rope, you've thought about this rope, and you've prayed to Garl Glittergold, not to make this rope magical, but it has been a part of your journey. And sometimes in this world, that will actually imbue an object with magic, and that is exactly what happened. And that is exactly what happened with your cloak. It was given to you in good faith. It was born of this terrible disaster where this frost elf very badly made this cloak, and but it was made out of goodwill, and it was made out of the camaraderie that he appreciated you in helping kill these dire bears, and it caused it to become a magic cloak. And so you. You and Katra have a moment, and Katra goes, meow, and walks up to Gorluin. And you see Gorluin reach into her pouch, and she pulls out one of her little chipmunks. One of her little undead chipmunks. And it is so adorable with its tick, 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 and it's missing half of its face. And she strokes it twice, and the chipmunk walks happily up to Katra, and Katra immediately eats it, and then makes a horrible face. And then Katra's eyes begin to glow softly green. And when Katra turns, her eyes glow ever so slightly more. And Gorluin says, I think that this should work. Is there anything that you need before you leave on your journey?
Well, we could restock on some rations. Do you have any dried rations, fruit, vegetables?
Yes, I do trade with the nearby Bunting. I will tell you that the meat is of questionable nature. However, it is perfectly potable. I may be a necromancer, but I am still an elf, and I do not truck with disgusting things to eat. So I think you will find it acceptable, if that's all right.
I think we'll just go with the vegetables and dried fruit.
Very well, very well. And she makes her way back in. It takes a few minutes because she lives in basically it's a crumbling castle, like from... the castle is probably 2,000 years old. As I have said many times, the world of Chafing Armory is ancient. And she has these little undead servants, but it's just her. She is the only humanoid that lives here. And it takes about a half hour total, and she comes back. And while she's gone, you can see Athora, that Katra almost seems drawn, further away, towards... Zental Keep, or where Zental Keep used to be, and you actually need to use some effort in order to keep her from going. And Fezzik says to you, Tix, I will assist you in this battle, and I also need a weapon. I need a weapon so that I may battle with you to help save the world.
Well, now, I appreciate that, but I think we need to do a little more training. And so, for now, I need you to be more of a lookout for me than a fighter or a paladin. Eventually, as we train you, you will become a more robust part of this adventure. But for now, I need you to trust my judgment.
Very, very well. Perhaps a dagger would be good. Someone might have eaten one of the daggers in your pack.
Really?
It's someone. I don't know who, and I don't think that it's important at this time, but someone might have.
Eaten a dagger.
And with that, Gorluin comes back out, and she has the dried fruits and vegetables, and they are all perfectly fine. Again, she is an elf, and elves are, not known to eat disgusting food. And so these are all perfectly fine, and they will, give you about 3 days worth of rations at need without having to cast a spell.
Excellent. Thank you. And so Tix goes about making a flint dagger with a bone handle for Fezzik to use. And as they, I guess, get everything on the ready for it, turns to Gorluin and says, I guess we're ready to head out. Athora, if you'll give Katra the go-ahead, we'll start following.
All right. Ready to go?
Meow. She seems very eager and begins making her way into the woods, directly towards Zental Keep. The last time y'all had made your way here, it was it was away from here at great speed because Gorluin had suddenly got the sense.
Well,
but yes, Fezzik.
Fezzik is the guy from Princess Bride.
That's right. Fezzik, he is getting away from us. Yes. Very understandable since that is technically my favorite movie. So as y'all make your way closer, I would like both of you to make a spot check.
I can do that. That is a modified 19.
19? Okay.
4.
4. Well, you are trying to keep Katra from wandering off too far because she seems very excited to do this, and so she's been going faster and faster. So you're focused on her, but Tix, you've been trying to keep aware of your surroundings, and you hear the creak of a bowstring being pulled taut to your left. By the way, this would be late afternoon. It's probably about 3 in the afternoon.
Okay. So is the sun behind me or behind the person drawing the bowstring?
The sun would be behind you.
Okay. So I will alert Athora and put my shield up to guard my body and peer over to see if I can see who is targeting us.
I would like you to make a straight roll and just add your charisma bonus, Tix.
That is a 13.
13. Okay. That is enough for these purposes. You hear a voice in the bushes say, "Halt! Do not move, or we will shoot."
Well, all right. We're halted. But if you shoot, it will not go well for you.
State your business here.
We're just passing through. What is your business here?
I am here to ensure that no looting happens during the recovery of Zental Keep.
And who are you to have that authority?
He says, I am, and he steps out. He's got a longbow. He is a half-elf, and he appears to be a ranger. And he has a longbow at the ready. And he says, I am Cameron Talmud, and I am a former enforcer. And he says that with a certain amount of bitterness in his voice, of Zental Keep. And I am here at the request of the priestess Pimder.
Well, I am here on an errand, both for my god and for the King of Masgate, your liege lord. Tix fishes out the constable badge. I was given this many years ago as a sign of the authority of Masgate. I am here to collect a artifact that a criminal named Loth was using in Massgate for nefarious purposes, and we've tracked it down here, and we've come to collect it from a former demon worshiper here at Zental Keep.
That's a lot. I would like you to make a diplomacy check, because that's a lot.
That is let's see, diplomacy. I have good diplomacy, so that is a 17.
17? Okay. For the first time, you see his bow lower. He does not unstring, but you see the tension go down a little bit in the bow and arrow. And he holds up his hand, and 5 other figures come out from the woods. You note, by the way, that the other figures look a lot less impressive than him. All of them have crossbows. Nothing against crossbows. I believe you have one of those, right?
Yes, I do.
Yes. But crossbows, as you know, are also easier for the uninitiated to use, whereas a longbow requires more skill. And these guys seem less trained than Cameron. But they nevertheless have crossbows pointed at you. And he says, "Will you willingly come with me to meet with Pimder? There is much going on here that I do not know."
Yes, we've met with Pimder before, and you may have heard of me as I passed through, not in the too distant past. My name is Tix Birchmanson, Paladin of Garl Glittergold.
He tilts his head a little bit. He goes, "You do seem familiar." He actually points at you, Athora. He goes, "I remember you. There was a little bit of a incident at Ye Chicken."
Yeah.
In that the people at Ye Chicken were horrible racists, as was most of the people in Zental Keep. Zental Keep was a place where anyone who wasn't one of the quote-unquote good races was looked down upon. The most tolerant they were was towards half-elves. But after that, even Penton, who is a pretty man, was looked down upon as deviant. But this Cameron either does not hold with that or is not letting that show at the moment. And he gestures for you to follow him. You note that the other 5 stay behind you. Their crossbows are pointed down, but they are still out and ready. And you make your way to a bustling camp. There are about 100 people here, you would say, on a rough guess. Not looking too great. Not looking too good. They look pretty ragged. They look a little starved. Not like they're starving, but like they're not very well fed. And they're, a lot of their tents are kind of haphazard, and they've started to build like some structures here, but they don't look that great. Like maybe most of the carpenters are dead, that kind of thing. And you do see a slightly larger tent that's towards one side that's against a small outcropping of rock for defense, and that is where he's taking. And when he opens the flap, you see a halfling at a desk, and she looks up, and a look of absolute joy comes over her face. And as before, she walks swiftly up to you, Tix, and she kisses you on both cheeks. Mwah! Mwah! Because that is a traditional greeting between the priests of Tamora and Garl Glittergold, because it is known in the lore that once upon a time, Garl and Tamora had a little tryst.
Yes, they had.
And so, but a friendly one, when you're immortal, things happen. And she says, "I am glad to see you both alive."
It's good to see you too, Pimdar. I'm glad you survived and that you're here to lead these people in a better way and hopefully help them recover.
Well, I wish I had better news for my people, but right before the event, a sudden and very, she kind of touches her head, painful premonition came to me, and I was able to get a small group of people out of the city just in time. The rest who are here were people who were not in the city. No one else survived. No one.
That's what I've heard.
Yes, the destruction was terrible. And I am trying to help these people to be ready for the oncoming winter. It is going to be difficult because most of these people were outcropping farmers, which of course is good, but the just the skill sets that are needed for running a city are just woefully lacking, and things are hard.
Well, if they're not willing to move south, then I trust that you will help them find their way, and the blessings of Tamora and Garl Glittergold be upon them. We are actually here on a bit of business to find a token of the demon Bane. We need it to complete a quest by Garl Glittergold and to protect the city of Kalimvor and Mascate and all those around the Sand Swallow Sea.
And when you say Bane, like her face blackens, like she visibly becomes upset, and she says, "Why would you want anything from that dead god?"
Mostly it is a means to an end, unfortunately. We are looking for a way to quickly get back to Kalimvor to reunite the ends of the Staff of Seraphim and keep the Kraken from destroying all the cities.
Well, please forgive. And she kind of waves Cameron like, like it's fine. Like he's still like at the ready in case something goes down. You have to understand that while we have been trying to find anything useful in the city, as you would imagine, once word of this happening got out, looters have sometimes ventured into the waste that was once Central Keep. And we've been trying to keep them out, one, because it's incredibly disrespectful to the dead, but also because we hope to recover any useful items that might help in the rebuilding of these, people's lives. And so you have to understand why Cameron reacted as I'm sure he did.
I understand, and that's why we did not have any problem with him bringing us here.
Very well. Then I wish you the best on your journey. And she pauses for a moment, and she blesses both of you. And you have now received the blessing of Tamora. That is a specific blessing. It works exactly like your inspiration, except that it's more limited. What it means is you can re-roll one attack in the next 24 hours. Basically, it counts as luck. So in the next 24 hours, you can re-roll any attack that you wish. And she wishes you the best of luck.
If we find anything useful for your people, we will bring it back to you.
I would greatly appreciate that. And I know that you are a man of your word, Tix. And I wish you the very best.
Thank you. Tix turns to Athora and says, "All right, Katra, lead on."
Meow. And you swear almost, Athora, that again, you almost hear a voice coming from Katra, and she says, "Close." As y'all follow Katra through the woods, you could not see anything from where this encampment was. But finally, as you come over the ridge, you can see Zental Keep, or what used to be Zental Keep, rising up all around, like imagine like the rib cage of a giant dead creature. Gesundheit. There are that's okay. There are huge stone pillars You don't know whether those were there or not when you were here last. They might have been. They might have been built into the structure of the walls of Zental Keep. Zental Keep is, of course, by the name, it used to be a keep, literally a stronghold. And so it absolutely was a walled city. But these stone pillars would have been part of the wall. And they are blackened. And there is just a continuous slight, almost greenish mist coming off of them. And I would like both of you, I would like you to make a straight intelligence roll. You can add any intelligence bonus that you have, which I believe both of you is a 10.
I'm an 11.
I'm very funny.
Yeah. And so that is a whole 9.
9? Okay.
16.
16. Athora, do you happen to remember when you were heading north? This was after the death of Osokai, who you never got to know very well, and y'all met a elven bard named Lashra. And it was actually when you recovered Morezi's father. He had fallen into a pit where there was a blind roper that y'all fought. Well, that pit was surrounded by blackened stones. And you recognize that these are the same kind of stones that those were. What that means, you have no idea, but you recognize it. And Tix, obviously, like, even you are not a magic user like Penton, but you have a sense of magic more so than the average person. You can still feel waves of magic coming off these pillars.
Ah.
But I haven't mentioned the city itself. The city itself is gone. There is nothing left. I don't want to say no stone unturned, because that's not really true. Like, there are, like little bits of chimneys and things like that here and there, but the destruction is so total, it is breathtaking. It actually reminds you a little bit when you first looked at the magically augmented necropolis at Kalimvor. It is just destroyed. And there is a gentle kind of smoke just rising up from it. And you cannot imagine that anything survived. What would you like to do? Okay,
so take a moment and scan the area and then see what direction that Katra is heading in.
Katra is heading towards what you think, it's hard to tell because the city is destroyed, but what you think would have been the slightly fancier part of town. That's actually a little bit towards where the Temple of Tamora was, but not right there, but in that general area where the nobles and the rich folks would live. You think that is where she's heading to. And the moment you pass through the stones, I would like both of you to make a fortitude saving throw.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
21.
21, okay.
And mine would be a 21 also.
21. You both feel a wave of nausea, and you think maybe like a little bit of that green smoke gets into your nostrils, and you feel sick. Like, you feel nauseous. Like, you've both had food poisoning before, and it's very similar to that. Just that, like, your bowels feel shaky, and you feel weak and unpleasant, but then the power of your god and also the blessing from Tamora come through, and you just shake it off, because you're powerful warriors who are level 9, and you're able to press on. Felzik seems completely injured because Felzik is an elemental who is poking out of your backpack right now, by the way. Katra, as far as you can tell, seems completely unaffected.
Felzik, have you seen anything?
Yes, I have seen that you should probably get a haircut soon. It is getting very long back here.
I'll keep that in mind.
I'm going to make a little roll here. Actually, Felzik rolls pretty good. Felzik, as y'all make your way forward, Felzik calls out and says, "Look, over there!" and points to an area. It is a large rubble, but what is interesting is how much there is beneath. There seems to be an underground chamber going on for quite some ways underneath this place, and Felzik noticed it and pointed it out, and it's in the general area that Katra is heading towards.
Good spot, Felzik. And continue to follow Katra.
I will continue to keep a lookout, and also I will let you know if any of your other daggers go missing.
Yes, please make sure that none of my other daggers go missing. It would be a shame if I had to use the gems that you like to eat to pay for a new dagger.
Athora, you look back at this exchange. By the way, Athora, you cannot understand what Felzik says. Felzik speaks Terran, which Tix both understands and can... Well, Felzik does understand basic. Both he... Common, yes. He understands Common, and he also understands Gnomish. But he cannot speak English, or cannot speak Common. So you have no idea. You just hear like these sounds like rocks rubbing together. It's just this... And when you look back, when you hear him talking, Tix does not see, but he is actually chewing on one of the metallic arrowheads or quills of his bow. Of his crossbow. Fortunately, it is not one of the enchanted ones. But he is just sort of like, munch, munch, munch. Just FYI. And that's when Katra comes up to the broken down area and stops. And there is a mess down there.
A mess.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there clearly was underground chambers down here, but in the whatever happened to Zental Keep collapsed the upstairs to the downstairs. And so it is just ruins down there. And there are spaces that you think you could navigate through, but it would be challenging.
Is Katra heading that way?
Yes.
Well, Athora, would you like to follow Katra down first, please?
All right. You're tinier, but okay. I head down and follow as best I can.
Okay.
And I watch her footsteps and see where anything was loose and try and travel as safely as possible.
Athora, I would like you to make a move silently roll.
Oh boy. Okay.
One of your best.
Ooh. 28.
28. Now, as I said before, there is literally no way for you to be completely silent. However, you are a fighter, and you have learned how to work with your armor so that it is as silent as possible. So that you buckle it in certain ways, and you've learned to move so that the chink and such is subdued. And as such, you are fairly quiet, and you move further down than certain things might have happened otherwise. Tix, I would love a move silently from you.
And that is all the 12.
12, okay. As you are making your way down behind, there's a moment when your foot... this is very treacherous, because none of this is... there are no steps. You're just scrambling. You're just scrambling. Yeah, you're just scrambling over, broken flagstones and sunken in parts of buildings and things like that. And there's a moment where there's a ting, 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 ting. And you don't know how far down this goes. You don't know where this might have accessed or what this might have, I don't know, let loose. and something comes rising out of the darkness. I'm just going to share a little picture with y'all. Could y'all tell me what is coming out of the darkness?
It's a floating snow globe.
Yes, it is. A floating snow globe, perhaps the most famous creature in all of Dungeons and Dragons. You see rising out of the darkness a beholder. And that's where we'll end Chafing Armor, episode 142.
Dun dun dun.
Good luck, both of you. You're going to need it. Thank you both for playing.
Thank you.
Thank you for not killing us yet.
Not yet, but I've been holding off this bad boy for a while, so I think we're going to finally get around to it. So thank you both for playing. And Dare, if someone would like to see some of your art or what's going on or what's going on with Tix, what would be some places they could go to do that?
You can find me at Dare Imagine on most platforms, specifically Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And those links will be in the show notes, or should be, if WordPress will stop fighting me. And also, Riley, where can people find your art?
You can find me at One Princess Beast on Instagram and One Princess Beast on Tumblr. I post my art there.
And it's very good art, and that is a number 1, correct?
Yes.
As opposed to
Yes.
One Princess Beast. Yes. So those will be in the show notes. Make sure and check those out. And until we get back to this beholder that we've taken 142 episodes to finally get to, we will roll with you soon.